when we talk about encounters, I think also there are kind of another kind of category of encounters, really two. So one is what we might call a conversion experience, or sort of an epic encounter. It's usually where Christ breaks into our life for the first time, or in a very dramatic situation. So we think of like Paul on the road to Damascus as the great example, or even Peter along the shore when there's the huge catch of fish. In these encounter experiences where Christ kind of breaks in a new way, that move, that new direction, which is always a part of an encounter, really leads to a personal surrender where we abandon ourselves to Christ. And we see that in the example of Paul in Damascus, and also Peter on the shore of Galilee, that the response really is a complete surrender to Christ, and living in a new way, living as his disciples. And so these epic encounter experiences really are the beginning of discipleship. They're sort of the fundamental point where our discipleship begins. But there's also multiple, what we might call re-encounters, where Christ breaks anew into our life multiple times. And, all of the disciples lived with Christ for 3 years after their initial encounter. And every morning, every day, as he maybe said something or did something, or even provoked them in a new way, these were encounter experiences. And so in our own life, we re-encounter Christ every day after our conversion. In fact, that's really part of being a disciple, is re-encountering Christ anew and again each day. What's required of an encounter? Well, first of all, I think a real attentiveness and openness to how Christ might be present, how he might be speaking through a situation or in a given reality that's before us. And so really this kind of, I think, is a new way of living our human nature, is with an attentiveness to everything that's before us, to the things that are going on in our lives, so that we can be aware. The Gospels tell us to be vigilant at all times, that we can be vigilant for Christ's breaking into our life in these new ways.